Hello, my name is Leslie Harris, and I'm the host of Come Sunday. It is my pleasure to welcome to the WBGO studios an award-winning pianist, music director, composer, arranger, and orchestrator. His work is extensive on and off Broadway, and he is currently the associate conductor for the new Broadway hit MJ the Musical, and he's the music director of Amateur Night at the world famous Apollo Theater in Harlem. He is here today to talk about an exciting project that he created and conceived, along with writer, director, and choreographer Warren Adams, that will have a limited run on stage this spring at the 92nd Street Y, New York series, Lyrics and Lyricists, which will present What's Going On, Songs of Change, a theatrical concert exploring the work of Black songwriters and artists whose music is an essential part of the American Songbook and has played an integral role in this country's culture. Welcome, Michael O. Mitchell.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I get all that right? I mean, that's just a little bit of what you do. I know the list is long, but thank you for coming to WBGO.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
So what's going on?
Girl, you tell me. What is it? What's going on?
What's going on? I know that's a very loaded question. The 1960s and 70s were a really tumultuous time for us here in the United States, and it was dominated by political unrest, the Vietnam War, civil rights protests, feminist activism, and more, much like today. And so here we are in 2023, and songs from Billie Holiday's songs from Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit or Dr. Billy Taylor's I Wish I Knew How It Felt to Be Free, to Stevie Wonder's Love's in Need of Love Today, all of which are part of this upcoming program. These songs were and may still hold hope for change, we're hoping. Could you let me know a little bit about your connection to these songs of change and what was the inspiration for you and Warren to conceive What's Going On, Songs of Change?
Usually when people think about America, they think, especially American Songbook, they think Gershwin, they think Rodgers and Hammerstein, but oftentimes they don't include Nina Simone,
right?
Or they don't include the songs that really for us, like Wade in the Water. That's a standard for us and our people.
Yes.
But that's not included in the American Songbook. So at first, the show was going to be songs of social change, but then it was like that only puts us in that 1960s, that certain era. But right now, we're still going through a lot of the same things that we have been going through, that our people have been going through. And now we're wanting to show that the American Songbook is more than that. The American Songbook has pain, and it's our pain. And if you want to know what American music is, listen to our music, because the root of blues comes from Africa. The root of jazz comes from Africa. The root of gospel comes from, so the root of blues, the root of country, all of that comes from grassroots, comes from Africa, comes from sitting. I was talking with Warren in our first conversation, and he was telling me that there's this place in South Africa, the cave, that if you go into the cave, it's has etchings on the wall that are about 28,000 years old.
Wow.
And in the middle of this big cave, there's a rock. And if you hit that rock, it sounds like a djembe. He's like, this is where families gathered for years, for nonstop, to celebrate, to be together, to make music. So they would go to that place and beat that rock, and all of a sudden you have community, you have family, you have connection. So for us, the American Songbook has to include us, and has to include our connection to this country, because as they say, we built this country.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you're right. The Great American Songbook is mostly associated with songs from Broadway musicals, Hollywood movie musicals, Tin Pan Alley, and they pretty much from 1920 to the 60s. So you have these great American composers, like you mentioned, Gershwin, Harold Arlen, Cole Porter. who were
Absolutely.
greatly influenced by
Yeah.
African American jazz musicians. Why?
Yes.
And I have my own concept about the American Songbook, which I think should include all of these songs that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
But why do you think the music of African American composers like Stevie Wonder and Billy Taylor and Marvin Gaye, why do they belong in the Great American Songbook?
Because America is a melting pot. And if you call America a melting pot, the land of the free, the home of the brave, you have to include those who weren't free,
Right.
because again, a lot of what Elvis did was from the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what the songs that were made popular first by Blacks, but then taken by whites to overspan into the cross culture. And a lot of what was popular for the white culture came from Black culture. I mean, even if you look at it now, you see the box braids, that's that's strategically Black, but it's being taken and used. So yeah. I think you're muted. Sorry.
I am muted. I'm sorry. I was asking you what was the process in choosing the music for what's going on?
Conversation. Warren and
Hmm.
our first conversation lasted about 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours, and we didn't even talk really much about music. Um, he said for him, music was a cassette tape that he had, with
Mm.
certain songs because he grew up in South Africa where there was apartheid and things were controlled, so they only got certain types of music.
Ah, I
Yeah,
went
so
to the way Warren is from South Africa.
Warren is from South Africa.
Okay,
So
okay.
for him, music was different, So when he's a trained dancer. He traveled around the world and got a chance to see and hear and understand that music was more than what they allowed him to hear and see.
Hmm.
I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, in the Midwest, and my parents, my dad's a pastor, and my mother was a teacher. So a lot of the music in the house was Christian, was very peaceful, calming, soft rock. You hear Michael Bolton every now and then. You hear a little, that kind of soft, easy
Yeah,
music.
classic rock.
Classic rock. You'd hear a Stevie Wonder tune. You'd hear a Mahalia Jackson song. So
Right.
I grew up with that scope of music and classical. I'm a classically trained pianist. So
Okay.
um, for me, it was classical, gospel, and whatever they were doing in choir at school. So,
It sounds a little bit like my background. I'm a granddaughter of a preacher. So,
yeah.
and I have a show called Come Sunday where I play
Mm,
gospel music because I grew up listening to it on the radio
yeah.
in the house, as well as black radio, soul music,
Right.
and the
Right.
like. And also, and I grew up probably a little bit earlier than you in terms of what time I got on the planet. But soul music emerged out of the African American experience and was often protest music.
Mhm.
The lyrics of soul songs often dealt with themes of social injustice, love, and pride in Black culture. And the genre also helped to empower Black people and give them a voice during a time when they were fighting for their civil rights, or we were fighting for our rights, and the fight continues, as we know. How are you bringing new life to these songs from that era
Um, some of the
as a
things that
composer?
sure, some of the things that we're doing, we're respecting the song as they are, but
Mhm.
we're showing the connection from the African root. Um, like for example, Tears of a Clown. It sounds
Mhm.
so happy and it sounds so uplifting, but the song is really, you see the smile on my face, but behind all of that is darkness. So we want to kind of pull on some of that darkness to take the happiness a little bit away,
Mm.
to show the struggle, to show the passion that we have.
Right.
And in choosing the songs, that just to touch back on the question before, in choosing the songs, we we picked songs that, yes, show what, the social struggle has been, to
Mm-hmm.
show, the revolution will not be televised, but we also picked songs that deal with the love that we have. Love's in need of love today.
Mm.
That
Mm-hmm.
never changes.
Yes.
Love is one of those things that, again, if you look at our struggle, if you look at the things we've been through, we've always been about love. You know, the love, just love us. You don't have to fight us. Just accept us and love us. Don't
Mhm.
argue. We don't need to argue. We're not trying to make ourselves better than you. We're not trying to
Right.
be different than you. We just want to be loved like you.
Right.
So a lot of us choosing these songs is just us really wanting to say, hey, we are a people of love. We are a people of change. We are a people that are demanding and wanting to be in the same social circles, to be in the same places without there being fear,
Right.
without there being disrespect. So a lot of the music that we chose is just, um, it shows our pain, but it also shows our love.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. The music's supposed to bring us all together, and we're still making the music,
Yeah.
and seems like tend to be growing apart a lot. Though this is the music of my generation. A lot of the songs that I see that are going to be, and they still ring true to today.
Yeah. I mean, one of the songs that we have is America the Beautiful. We
Mm.
all know that song, but that's going to get interrupted by This is America.
Mm. Oh,
Because,
okay.
yeah, because it's one of those, yes, we hear, oh, beautiful for spacious
Yeah.
skies.
Right.
But then it's like, we know this is really America.
Right.
This is what we're dealing with. This is the struggle that we're still dealing with all of these years later. Yes, it's better, but no, it's not.
Right. Now, is this program that's going to be happening at the 92nd Street Y, New York? Is it part of a bigger project that's coming down the pike? Maybe something that might go to Broadway?
It, it's something that we're trying to build to take different
Hmm.
places and to allow our music to be considered American Songbook. Allow others to know that, hey, the social and the struggle is still continuing. We're still fighting for change. We're still fighting for equality. We're still fighting for clarity. We're still fighting for understanding. We're still fighting to be included. Again, yes, things are better, but there's
Yes.
still a long ways to go. You
Yeah,
know,
we've come this far by faith, right?
absolutely. This far by
um,
faith and fighting.
Faith and fighting, yes, and a whole lot of nail biting. You and Warren Adams have assembled a wonderful, outstanding cast of Broadway veterans who will
Yeah,
light up the stage with your unique arrangements, blending
yeah.
music, dance, poetry, and visual arts to tell this powerful story. Tell us a little bit about some of the actors and how you come to work with them, because some of them have worked on Broadway on MJ the musical. The
I worked with some on Motown, the musical.
Okay, Motown the musical, right?
Yeah, Motown. Some are friends that you just know in the
Mhm.
business that you're amazing. I need to work with you. And we just assembled a group of people that have the same heart and the same passion for the story that we're trying to tell. Yes, we could have picked a million people because there are wonderful actors, singers everywhere, but we hand selected people that we knew loved the art as much as we do. We
Mhm.
knew wanted to tell our story as much as we do, and we knew that could deliver the goods and singing their part. Because again, our songbook and our artists are full of amazing singers, amazing writers, and we often get pushed to just certain dialogues, certain dialects, certain genres, um, and we are the kind of people that can do it all. We're everywhere.
Absolutely. I think I'm a vocalist also, and I, like a lot of singers who come into jazz, especially,
Mhm.
we learn the songs out of the Great American Songbook. But what I'm noticing now are more singers like myself. We're singing songs that, of our generation, or songs that speak, more to our culture. So a lot of Stevie Wonder is included in now what I call the American Songbook. A lot of Marvin Gaye, a lot of that's Philadelphia soul sound.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in the future of music as you working with vocalists and the songbook, the Great American Songbook? Do you see more? Do you see this music being included more in repertoires?
I hear it
You
so
hear it?
much now in audition rooms.
Yeah.
You used to hear the "Hello Dolly," "Feelings" from Cats,
Right.
"Defying Gravity." Again, they're all great songs, but you're starting to hear a lot more "Signed, Sealed, Delivered."
Right.
You're starting to hear a lot more. Even I'm starting to hear more of Nina's stuff. They're starting to see the relevance of these songs because musicals are now changing.
Right.
That the concept of theater being a certain way is no longer. I mean, the fact that we had a Tupac musical on Broadway is amazing. I mean, people forget about it because it didn't last long because again, it was a rap musical that wasn't Hamilton, that was full of black folks. So it
Right.
it was a little bit of controversy and it was hard,
Hmm.
but it was still there. And I have to be excited and encouraged that it was there. Um, at the Once the pandemic started to lighten up, there was a
Hmm.
play called Chicken and Biscuits, which I did the music for
Hmm.
on Broadway, and it didn't last very long because of the pandemic, but it still had a run. And now that show is around the country and
Right.
hitting, and touching so many people and allowing our story to be told. So it's things are changing, and
Well, absolutely.
we are
Absolutely.
necessary, and our music is necessary. So again, I'm hearing more Marvin Gaye. I'm hearing even Pharrell. Freedom.
Right.
I'm hearing these songs now in audition rooms. So that's very encouraging.
And they're also being woven into the fabric of commercialism. Also, you're seeing it on TV
Mhm.
commercials, and um,
Absolutely.
I watched a clip of a gymnast,
Hmm.
and it was not your typical classical music that you would hear. It was a black gymnast. It was
Hmm.
a little hip hop, and
Hmm.
I was like,
Hmm.
okay, it's good
Yeah.
to hear that these songs are being included more so now in the whole fabric in the Great American Songbook, because it is
Yeah.
American. You said something that I wanted to quote. If you want to experience America, you simply have to listen to the music,
Yes.
and the social change we're looking for is love.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely. The music has always been a part of the African American culture. Um, from chants to work songs
Right.
to exciting songs to love songs.
Right.
It's always been a part. And again, at the end of the day, what we really want is love. What we really want is acceptance. What we really want is appreciation. So yeah,
Absolutely. Well, I hope to be in the house
I look forward to
March
seeing you.
March 21st. I'm sorry, March 25th through 27th
Yes.
for What's Going On, Songs of Change, that takes place at the 92nd Street Y, New York, New York's Global Center for Culture, Connection, and Enrichment. Michael O. Mitchell, thank you so much for coming and spending
Thank
some time with
you.
us here at WBGO. So great to meet you,
You
and
as
all
well.